Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Alice from Motorsport Madness Pod, and today we're going to go a little bit deeper into the reasons behind GP moving to McLaren in 2028 from Red Bull and becoming team principal to replace Andrea Stella. Now, we have to go back in time to 2024 February when allegations against Christian Horner were made of inappropriate messages sent between himself and a female member. Now, the case was originally dismissed on February 28th before it was appealed by the female team member on March 16th. And then that was then dismissed on August 8th, 2024. But less than a year later, Horner was fired from the team on July 9th, I believe, and his last Grand Prix was Silverstone. During the investigation period, Will Courtney, who is was Red Bull's head of strategy, left just a month after the second dismissal of Horner's case, and Hannah Smith filled in the vacancy. Will went to McLaren to be sporting director. Also in this time period of the investigation, we had Adrian Newey leave on the 1st of May, and this came just before their main rival, McLaren, got their first win since Daniel Ricciardo on the 12th of September 2021, and we just keep going on a slippery downhill slope after that, because on August 1st, Jonathan Wheatley then reveals that he's leaving Red Bull to go to Audi/Sauber, and he was going to become their team principal. But now we've had him leave on the 20th of March with immediate effect from Audi, because rumours are that he will reunite with Adrian Newey and go and be the team principal there, which is okay because Mattia Binotto, I think, will be taking the reins for Audi because they were like equally team principal, if that makes sense. They shared the role of team principal. December 9th, 2025, we saw Helmut Marko be fired. I believe he was fired. He says he left at the right moment. I don't think so, because he had a very close bond with Horner and he almost left when Horner was fired, but then it didn't go very well for him because his relationship with Red Bull management became very strained after the passing of Dietrich, particularly with Oliver Mintzlaff, leading to his autonomy to be restrained. And it's understood that Helmut also made unauthorized decisions like hiring Alex Dunn. So you see why he was probably fired now. Another person to leave this year, actually, very early this year, on the 17th of February, was Craig Skinner. He was chief designer, and it's unknown why he has left, but we're all going to assume that it's the unrest and just not a good situation that Red Bull are in that he has left. Another person is longtime mechanic for Red Bull, Ole Schack. On the 5th of April, we're guessing 5th of April because that was the last Grand Prix, Japanese Grand Prix, and we assume that he's starting his gardening period and he won't be at Miami. But we're not sure where he's going to go. Whereas it's assumed or rumoured that Skinner will go to Aston Martin and reunite with Newey and Wheatley. Now, this has been a big shake-up for Red Bull in their team, so it has caused them rest. Like, that's just going to happen, and I think that's why everyone wants to get out. But also, Red Bull have not had a good start to their season this year at all. Firstly, they've had chassis and balance problems. Verstappen has called this car undrivable, with them having slow cornering speed and significant tyre degradation. Secondly, the car is 10 kilograms, over 10 kilograms overweight, which is really not good. They are not the Red Bull that we saw in their dominant period from about 2021 to 2024-ish. But another thing is the fact that Red Bull left their partnership with Honda to reunite with Ford. Reunite? Yeah, They were before. And they're now their power unit supplier, but they have had reliability issues with the hybrid section of their engine. So another reason to leave is the fact that they can't seem to build a car at the moment. But also, you're probably wondering where Andrea Stella is going, because if GP is going to replace him as team principal, what's he going to do? Well, Andrea Stella is probably replacing Frederic Vasseur as team principal for Ferrari. Now, Stella was with Ferrari from 2000 to 2014 as performance engineer, so he knows the team quite well, and also he's Italian. So he's gonna want to support his home team because, as you know, Italians are very patriotic with the teams that they support usually. Just look at Monza and the podium celebration there when, what was it, 2019 Charles Leclerc won. That was something. But there have also been talks between Stella and Leclerc's manager Nicolas Todd, which suggests a seat swap between Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. Now, the driver market gets a little bit iffy, should I say? Because also, what about Max Verstappen? Because will he retire? We are not sure. But first, let's talk about why GP chose McLaren instead of choosing Aston Martin. Because you think, well, Adrian Newey's at Aston Martin. Why wouldn't you want to go work with Adrian Newey again? Well, I'm not 100% sure. It was clearly just a more attractive option with the likes of Will and Rob Marshall being at the team now. It's also suggested that GP was offered the position of team principal of Aston Martin and declined it, which I think is why Wheatley will be now taking the team principal position from Adrian Newey. But it's also suggested that this deal with McLaren is a multi-million-pound one and will stabilise the leadership team in McLaren. Now, back to Max Verstappen. It's rumoured that he will be leaving Formula 1, but I'm not so sure with this new announcement, because obviously the rumours are that he will leave and he will do GT racing or supercar racing. We're not too sure, but he is already doing GT racing alongside his Formula 1 season this year. But the fact that GP is now going to McLaren in 2028, conveniently when Max's contract expires, could be another Zak Brown ploy to bring the four-time world champion to the team. Now, I think it would be great to see Max and Lando together. However, this is where it gets a bit tricky with the drivers situation, and I like to think of it as like a little triangle. Because if Max goes and fills Oscar's seat, and Oscar goes to Ferrari, will Charles go to Red Bull? I'm not sure, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one. I believe this is a pretty perfect fit in terms of like the movement of leadership and reasons behind it. So I am quite excited if this is like true and set in stone. But let me know your thoughts and what you think will happen in 2026.